setting up the live on YouTube as well. Today we've got the Maverick Optic Force. Got some NL highlights on. I'm going to string it, and we're getting ready for a review coming up. Hopefully get it up on YouTube this week. I've also got the Mark III V that we're going to do the same thing with, string, and then review. So yeah, Maverick Optic Force is new. It's out, so I'm going to string it. I got the Splatter, limited edition Navy Splatter version. And then I'm going to do some USA Hero 4 just because I feel like it matches pretty well with the splatter. So I'm going to string it up. If you guys have questions about anything stringing wise, feel free to leave them. If not, we'll get ready to do the review on YouTube. Hopefully shoot it today and get it up for Thursday. That's the plan. And then we're now a NLL sponsor, so I'm going to watch a little bit of highlights in the back as we get some more guys that are using our stuff in the NLL.
That takes a little time to sort itself out. Speaking of teams with embarrassments of riches, well, we talked about it off the top.
Let's see. As Weapon X2 review, we don't usually review our own heads. We put out like release stuff, but we usually don't review them. I think the Optic Force is good for an outside shooter. I think they're kind of pitching it. The Optic is more for attack and feeders, I believe. So you'd probably be looking more at the tactic or the kinetic if you want to go with Maverick. From us, it's probably more the Mirage 2, the DNA, or the Ion. Trent has ordered a lot of customs from us. Thanks, Trent. The first thing is these holes are pretty small at the top. One of my biggest pet peeves.
Walker fights for an angle and he scores. Simmons, who has settled in this game in more of a playmaking role, and Walker, we cost Bears.
Overall, I really like the splatter. The splatter is kind of a cool feature. Any new youth clothing coming out? We do apparel twice a year, spring and fall, so some stuff will come out usually around Easter in the spring. Said, let's see, when's the Mirage 3 coming out? That is something we're working on. Not a lot I can tell you there. What do I like and not like about the Optic Force? So far, it seems pretty good. Just an improvement on the old one. Seems a little lighter. Seems plenty stiff. I like it. She's got a Galaxy Ion, but wants to get the Force to try out. It's a good combo. I'd say the Ion is similar to the Optic with the lower bottom rail kind of pocket placement. It's a little more pinched. They're very similar in weight. Yeah, I don't know what I like and dislike about the Force yet, so we'll get a strong look at it. Most of Maverick's heads, they don't do anything crazy different from head to head, but just minor improvements, which would obviously help. My personal twig, I'll show my personal stick at the end of the stream here. A couple questions on YouTube. You had to choose 2013 South Beach or Volt Striker. I like the Volt Striker back then. Do I feel like I continuously get better at stringing? Probably not, but I do find I have to force myself to try new concepts a lot just to stay up with what people are working on, stringing the inside. But I don't spend a lot of my time coming up with new stringing methods because we keep it pretty simple here. We don't do anything crazy, but we find that the patterns that we do perform really well. I do end up replicating a lot of pockets for high school kids. No glove today. Yeah, no glove today. Thoughts on OG Fortnite? I've never played Fortnite. What head is being strung yet? So you can't really see it in the frame. So we got the Splatter Optic Force with USA Hero 4. And I'm going to string as close as I can the Jordan Wolf pocket. That was one of my favorites that I used to string in the Optic. And on the highlights today, we've got NLL Calgary versus Albany Firewolves. What am I doing with the screwdriver? I usually just stretch the mesh out a little bit just so I can get the tension a little better. Sweet Lax Ion, you got to dye with gray and blue. Really? I'll have to try that because it seems to me like the Sweet Lax color is a little bit greenish, bluish green, but maybe you're right. Gray and blue. It sounds like it'll be too blue to me. Sweet Lax color looks more green. Well, right off the bat, I'm having a hard time getting 2 strings through any of these top holes. Which is not my favorite. All right, we need our next NLL highlight, Buffalo Bandits.
Riley O'Connor, ball in his stick, works towards the field. There's a shot, score!
Any tips for getting better at stringing? Yeah, I would say just stick to the basics, and you can string and restring the same stick over and over again, trying new things out. But you don't have to get crazy for your own personal stick. It'd be pretty simple.
There's a chance at a Buffalo goal. Big pieces in this offense. Yes, we talk Bird. Yes, we see so often in the National Lacrosse League. So Ottawa 0 for 1 on the man up. Centering pass again comes.
Once I get the top in, it usually goes pretty quick. Been a huge fan since you got in Lax in 2015. That's pretty early on. Almost the beginning. Who do you think will be the next GOAT of lacrosse? So that's tough because a lot of people look at Paul Rabel as the GOAT just because I think his social media presence plus his play on the field. So I don't think there's a lot of people right now that are coming up that have that big social media presence. Lacrosse could probably use that to replace Paul Rabel. Trevor Baptiste is there. But we don't have a ton of huge personalities that are also great players. Like Tom Schreiber is great, fantastic player, but he's not really that flashy on the field, and he's not really on social media in a big way, and you kind of need both. You need the skill and the popularity to be like that next big player.
O'Connor, big save, Vince. 15 seconds to go, the shot clock is off. 6 on 5. Fraser to Dane Smith. Fires that pass, scores. Real difficult to keep track. Look, extra on the floor. Dane Smith.
Somebody I think had a funny comment. Put Winston on camera. We can get Winston. Ever heard of Gavin Nuzzo? No. Why do I look like Leo from Love Is Blind? Oh.
Is nice, but how about this nasty feed? Little pick pop.
Strange and blank. I don't know what Leo from Love Is Blind looks like. But I got to change the pattern a little bit. They added 20 string holes here, so what I was doing was not quite working. Winston's not out there. We'll get Winston if he comes back to his office. See, did you go to Hawaii? I did not go to Hawaii this year. We did have a couple guys from work that went to Hawaii one year, though. Got mesh from last Black Friday. Are there other uses for mesh? That's a tough one. You can make like a tiny hammock or something.
And throws that bouncer, confirming the Stouffville, Ontario native. Leads it back to
I had to go back to the beginning and do it all over again. What would I change? I get that question a lot. I wouldn't change a lot because it kind of all worked out, whether it was by accident or on purpose. Mike's here. I'm doing a live video.
Double seal from the top of scissors play, and then it's just skip pass, big. A spark plug for this offense. Smith scores.
No.
Because he kind of got caught in a rock, in between a rock and a hard place. Look, he's looking for options. Well, you know what? No one's going to slide to me. I'm going to shoot the ball.
Yeah, that was me.
Chance in transition. Weeze the hard.
Mike, yes, Mike was here. We'll do some lives with Mike at some point. Mike, do you want to go live at some point?
6 on 5. Yeah. On the power play. Back in the stick of Dane Smith. Been a setup man tonight. Buchanan scores.
Hawaii, use your old mesh to patch goal netting. That's a good idea. Heard of Caleb Hare. Can a ward be called if the player has 2 hands on the stick? They've been changing that rule a little bit. I think in college you can't be called for a ward with 2 hands on the stick. But I think in high school that rule is changing. 100% positive. You have to check.
Nothing towards the net. Back to Chase Fraser. In below the net. A little tuck play. Yes! Of the game. His 4th goal. Plays offense, plays defense.
Greg, what type of pocket are you stringing? This is an old Jordan Wolf replica, so something a little lower.
going to be that slash on Dawson.
We hire stringers. We have in-house stringers, people that do the elite pockets. We thought about making different color impacts. We make white and black. I think the only other thing we'd look at would be maybe like ACG blue. Had the first carbon a long time ago.
Back to Team Wines. Fire scores! In that spot last week, we saw some players, including back into Ottawa's favor. Centering pass in front.
Okay, almost done with the sidewall. Looks good. Jordan Wolf used to use. Can't do use, so I have to stick with straight shooting strings.
Again, into the middle. Smith, a little bit of space. Shot, scores! Whoa, stops the bleeding, stops the run. As Chase Fraser gets that in tight.
My first year playing the varsity's 8th grade. Any good tips? Yeah, probably try and hit the weight room, get a little bigger, get a little faster. Sure, playing up is going to be tough. Hit the wall a lot. So your stick work's dialed. None of that should be a surprise. When can you tell it's time to get a new stick? Starts to throw a little differently. The mesh gets worn out. The pocket doesn't have the same kind of grab as it used to. Box head in the future. Maybe. It's a project we have now with the NL sponsorship. All right, there's the pocket. Nothing crazy, but again, this is what Duke legend Jordan Wolf used to use.
Looks like Vince also getting a little bit of a break as well as they come in and score.
Duke feels a little soft. I'll break me in.
Let's not forget Scanlon, his NLL debut tonight. Looks to that far side, and Dunkerley's got the save. The ball is loose. It was jarred.
Looks nice. Broken in.
Scores. Come up with a game plan to play this.
Shout out Tilt 101. That was a fun video. Tilt 201 also. Featured Ryan Drenner.
But a massive 6-goal fourth quarter run gives Buffalo the win.
Hey, thanks, Kyle. Hope you have a good day, too. It was really nice. All right. On to the Vegas Desert Dogs versus the Wings.
A save made, and he ducks home the rebound.
Reardon had much to say, Brian. Look at Reardon. Starts with Resetera. Great cut by Reardon. Gets his own rebound. Tries to dunk it.
Making his NLL debut here today, but he's dumped a Vegas player behind the net. However,
Las Vegas, great scout report. He gets it done. Little pass behind. He's waiting for the ball to come back. Sets his feet. Defense unsettled and get a high opportunity.
When are you releasing the review? Hopefully this week. Got to get it headstrong and shot today. It's 11, so hopefully I have time to do that. I should be able to get up by Thursday.
He's just looking, shopping. Who's cutting? Joey Rez with a great backdoor cut. Fake finishing.
Here is Resetera bouncing one just wide of the net. Long rebound. Controlled by Philadelphia. Falling to the floor is Sam Leclerc. Pushes it out in front, and they score!
Firstman draft. Filled with a really big offensive player. 6'3", 215, 220. Gets that loose.
But in the second quarter in particular, San Diego just kept their offense off the floor. As here's a bid and a goal. Another one.
A lot of talk about him making his debut in the National Lacrosse League, and he's answering.
So a lot of, again, young talent, especially offensively in this contest. Here's a chance.
All right, there we go. Bottom string in. So, like I said, Jordan Wolf used to use. He was a Maverick athlete back in the day. I would ban Carson from this. There, Carson got muted. It is a little deep. I was just saying that this is from a pro player, Jordan Wolf. So he used to use a pretty deep pocket. You could always just move the bottom string in a little bit. He also used to use a nylon and 2Us. So for today, we can only do nylon and 2 straights. But it'll be a similar kind of feel. Stringing to the inside just pulls the mesh down a little less tight and also moves the pocket more toward the inside, creating a more narrow feel in the head. A lot of people are stringing to the inside at the top and then not at the bottom because it can make it a little too narrow at the bottom, especially if the head warps, causing the ball not to come out freely.
Opportunity here for Philadelphia. Terrence puts it through.
Ryan picks that far.
I don't know how Carson got back into this.
Catch release.
Tony skips it off the Blaze Reardon. Terrence finds Jones off the bench, and he scores.
It's Jones. Little pass down low. Give, go, shot, boom.
Tony is being pressured, but he finds Jones out the door again. Jones
The trends in pro players 6, you don't see normal 6, just extra depth. They drop the bottom string an extra row. They just have it extra deep for a little more width, shooting faster. They don't really check pockets in the PLL. I don't think. I'm not even sure I know what the pocket rules are. So that's a big one in pro pockets. Everybody drops their bottom string down an extra row from what we string for most high schoolers. Yes, I am. I'm watching the Desert Dogs and Wings box game right now. Watch catch up on the highlights from the weekend. How long have I been stringing sticks? Since I was in middle school. So 20 a couple years, probably.
Little half cradle. Tips it down a little bit and then overhand buries it again to that.
So this is where we would normally stop with the shooting strings, but I'm going to do a true Jordan Wolf. He used to have a nylon and a U here and then one more down with a U. So I'm going to go one more lower. It's going to be close on NCAA legality. Might still pass. Definitely give it some extra whip. I think the PLL being lax about pocket depth, compromise integrity of the game. Well, it definitely makes it harder for turnovers, but they have a shorter shot clock at only 56 seconds or whatever it is. So they don't have an issue with crazy long possession times because people aren't turning the ball over. So that's something to think about. Like it's just there's not a ton of calls turnovers. I think because the ball is just getting shot so quickly. But that's why the PLL or the NCAA is looking for no use shooting strings, shallower pockets, wider heads to create more turnovers so they don't have to go as low with the shot clock and they can keep the ball on the ground, keep the game moving a little faster. Mount to the NCAA ship, maybe. Winston would love to hear that. Winston would love that. That might be Winston. When did they ban the U? Like 2014, 15 maybe? All right. So there's the pocket. Jordan Wolf replica in the Maverick Optic Force. Splatter Die USA Hero 4. Looks really nice. We're going to do the review on YouTube. So if you watch on YouTube, thanks for joining in. And look for the review later this week. If you're on TikTok, appreciate you guys watching.